Hi, this is Rose from Little Miss Rose, and this is my May 2019 plan with me in my bullet journal. This month's setup has been a bit late because this past month has been pretty busy. We've had school holidays this month in New Zealand, which is 2 weeks off for the kids in primary school, and we decided as a family to take a week off and head down to Nelson for a bit of R&R. I actually took my iPad and my bullet journal with me, and I was planning on creating new things for my shop, such as printables and stickers, and also work on my bullet journal, but I didn't end up doing any of that. I basically sat around and listened to my current favourite podcast, which is Serial, and I did a lot of knitting and just relaxing and enjoying the sun. So now I'm in a rush to get all of this done. And not only that, I've actually kind of fallen a bit out of love with my bullet journal at the moment. I haven't actually used it that much the past month. I mean, granted, we were on holiday, and since I'd already set up all my weeks for April, I used the spaces in April for writing down memories from my holiday, but there hasn't been much planning going on, and I haven't actually been logging anything or tracking anything either, so some of those pages have been a bit of a waste. I've actually been a bit reluctant to start planning my May spreads this month, basically because I haven't had much inspiration, and I didn't get very many suggestions for themes last month either. But I decided to ease myself back into it. I'd go with something simple, so everything's done freehand. I've also gone with basic shapes that are nice and easy to paint and draw, and I've just stuck to 3 main colours and my fine liners and a brush pen. This month I'm using paint from a new Prima watercolour confections palette that I've bought, which is Pastel Dreams, and all the colours are pastel shades, and I've just chosen a yellow, a pink and a blue, and I'm just working with those. So here you can see I've done the heading for my monthly log. It looks quite spectacular, but what I did was I used a piece of tracing paper and I traced over the font on my phone, and then using the tracing paper underneath the page in my bullet journal, I just traced it into my bullet journal, so that's why it looks so even and neat. It's not actually my hand lettering, it's just me tracing some fonts off my phone. So this month I've gone back to my usual calendar format with boxes, and I've left a bit in the side with a shit to-do list. So here I'll just write down everything that comes up in my head that I need to get done during the month, and then I'll allocate these to the days or the weeks when I need to. Now you can see I'm just randomly painting different shapes with the 3 different colours that I've chosen. I've overlapped some of the shapes. You have to be patient and wait for the paint to dry a bit, otherwise your paint blends together and you won't get the overlapping. So here I've decided to use some date circles from my Etsy shop. They just save a bit of time, and I think the white on the black circles looks a lot better than if I'd drawn it with like a black marker and then used a white pen on top. I've found each time I've done that in my bullet journal, the white gel pen never really pops as well as it does from a sticker. And then after that I'm just using a black fine liner, and tracing over the shapes. Some of them a bit off centre just to give it that little artsy look, and some extra squares and circles dotted around the page. And that's basically my theme for the whole month, is just random shapes outlined with black fine liner. Super simple, Don't need any artistic skills, just plop them where you want to. So this month again I'm back using my standard weight tracker, which I've got on the left hand side, and I'm mixing up my habit tracker a little bit. On the right hand side I'm doing full little mini calendars. So each little mini calendar will be a separate habit that I'll be tracking for the month. Here I'm just using a Kelly Creates small brush pen. It is one of my favourites just because it's easier to handle than a lot of the other brush pens. Also one of my favourites is the Printables Sign Touch brush pen, and also the small Fudenosuke black brush pen, another one of my favourites. Along the bottom of my weight tracker I've got exercise, food and water. So each day I'll do a little circle in either green, red or orange to signify how well I've eaten, drunk, or if I've exercised during the day. So if I haven't exercised I get a red circle, if I have I get a green one, if I've eaten fairly well I'll get an orange circle. So my next two pages are my standard dinner log, where I'll just write down what we eat for dinner, and an Etsy sales tracker for the month. I haven't got a process video for this because I forgot to turn on my camera. I only discovered that when I stood up to check to see if it was filming or not, and it wasn't. But now I'm creating a spending log. Now last month I did a double page spread for this because I usually spend a lot, more than one page worth of spending, and turned out I didn't even use my spending log last month. So this month I'm just going to go back to one page, but I'm going to split the page in half so that I get double the amount of columns as a one page spread. Then opposite this spending tracker, I'm just filling in a blank page with a quote. Now I've done it all with the same fine liner, I think, and it actually took probably half an hour to do, I think, with all that colouring in with the black fine liner. I actually got this quote from when we went to play mini golf out in Nelson. At each of the holes there was a sign which told you which hole you were at and a little quirky little quote, and this was one of my favourites. So what I mentioned before, how I had traced a font onto a piece of tracing paper. So this is a piece of tracing paper I have, and I've just tucked it under the page and tracing it into my bullet journal. I'm just going to hang on to that piece of tracing paper because I'll probably use those headings again and again this month. I'll just keep it in the back pocket of my bullet journal. For this week, week 18, I've decided not to do a weekly spread, and I've just set it up so that I'll have dailies instead. I've just drawn up a little note with the heading events, and that's where I'm going to note down all of my tasks and appointments that I know before the week started, so that I can see them at a glance. And then I'll just decorate the pages, and instead of doing some hand lettering, I've being lazy again, and I'm using some stickers from my Etsy shop. These are clear stickers and they're hand drawn by me, and because they're clear you can just pop them over the top of the painting and you'll still be able to see the colour underneath come through. And I'm going to use my date stickers again, and this is when I realised that I wanted to start on the 1st of May in my bullet journal, and the 1st of May starts on a Wednesday, so I actually had to peel off that sticker, and it was quite a task because they're not removable stickers and it is very sticky, but it still worked out in the end, and I love how this page has started off looking. And here's a quick flip through of my pages. I actually really love the simplicity of this theme this month. I love the colours and how easy it was to put together. Anyone can do it. If you enjoyed my video this month, please give it a big thumbs up. Leave a comment below on what you think of this theme. Let me know if you're going to give it a go as well. I'd love to see your recreations of it. And make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next month. Bye for now.